Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about a book called Magician, written by an American writer, Raymond A. Feist, who wrote it way back in 1982. It's a fantasy book and a starting point for a whole series of books that compose Riftwar Saga and Riftwar Cycle. This book had so much lost potential that it frustrated me enough to make a video about it. During my entire time reading this book, I kept thinking up interesting scenarios that are going to be played out, or that were set up only for them all to fall apart and do something completely different, while quickly finishing off all the plot threads. Let me tell you what I mean. The book starts off in a typical way. Nothing crazy. Our main character is an orphan who is shown to have talent in magic. He meets a magician and becomes his apprentice. Nothing crazy. This sets up a basic foundations from which we can go to many different routes. The first red flag for me was when Pug and his friend Thomas talked about their dreams. They both stated specific things that they wanted. Pug desired to become the greatest magician. No problem there. What I did have a problem with was Thomas. He wanted to marry the Elf Queen, someone whom he just met for the first time that day. This was clearly his boy fascination, and I was under the impression that he will grow out of it. Or, if the author does decide to bring the two together, he will do something interesting with it. Like Thomas will have to work for it, or they will have to overcome the difficulties of being two different species, and the fact that Thomas will die way before the Queen. That could have been an interesting plotline. None of that happened. Instead, they found some convoluted way to make Thomas a demigod, I guess, which led to a whole new bunch of problems, as in Thomas became united with a being from a long extinct race, who used to control elves. He didn't inherit the powers, no, he became a whole new being. That is a combination of Thomas and this godlike being. How? I honestly don't know. It's some kind of space-time mumbo-jumbo. And now I'm thinking, is Elf Queen with him because Thomas is now partly a member of a race that used to control elves? Or not? But we haven't seen how or why she fell in love with him. So, there's that. There is another character who I'm actually liked. Roland. He was Pug's friend and rival in love, and he got the shortest end of a stick I have ever seen. He was a big part of a book. He helped the princess get a Pug. He saved her a couple of times. He wasn't an asshole when he did it. He genuinely liked the princess for a very long time. And eventually she liked him back, so they got together after an appropriate amount of time has gone by from Pug's apparent death. And I was thinking this will be fun. We'll see Pug's reaction to this when he gets back and all the possible drama that might be interesting. Instead, the author did something that really pissed me off. He killed Roland off screen. And I first thought, okay, he'll be back by the end of the book. No big deal. But no, he is dead. And the princess ended up all alone for no reason. It wasn't any epic death or something like that. No, it was an off-screen death for a character who we followed for like half a book. It just made no sense. I just hope that maybe he returns in the future books or something. I don't know. Now, let us talk about our main character. He is a magician who used magic so little. I can count it on one hand. This story is called Magician, but we don't see any magic. And the one that we do see has no rules, and only serves as Deus Ex Machina. When it came to Pug, it turned out his magic is special. Great, I thought this would probably be the focus of the story, since it's called Magician. But no, this is explained away in the book later on. No, the great majority of this book is spent on the war between two worlds. Which is not really the case either, since it's more like a war between an empire that controls the world versus one small kingdom that can somehow stand up against them, because the empire is incompetent. Seriously, the only battle that we have witnessed in the book, that were shown in the pages, shows the empire as fools who run straight at the castle wall, hoping to take it down by the virtue of having more people, and using a basic ass tunnel to go under the castle while the soldiers are dying as a distraction. great strategy from an empire that rules a whole world. Yeah, that will show them. Let's go back to magic now. It's really confusing. I don't know why I don't like it, but I just don't. Let me try and explain why I don't like magic in a book called Magician. For one, the rules are there, but they are not very well defined. I actually like the whole concept of you need an item, like a scroll, in order to use magic. It's a very creative roadblock. One can see all kinds of interesting ways this can influence the magicians. Maybe they will be more like scientists or something like that. And this gives us a reason why Pug is special, since he can use magic without the tools. It's simple, but you can work with this. Instead, the author decided to split magic into greater and lesser magic, and Pug is just talented in greater magic. And every magician from his home world is just a lesser magician, while Pug is just talented in a different type of magic. Great, he is no longer special. No, wait. Pug is still special. His magic is stronger than regular because he is a being of two worlds. Oh, what does that mean? Maybe one of his parents is from a different world. That could be interesting, but no. It's just that he trained in a different world. Something that anyone born with a talent for greater magic can do if they just transfer school interdimensionally, which is exactly what I would do if I found out that it gives you godlike powers, which it does. Amazing, right? And one last thing about magic. It's used so little that I think the author went out of his way not to make it important. There are no magicians in the army for some reason. Guess they don't want someone to control fireballs at their enemies. Understandable. Neither did the French want to shoot cannon fire during the war for fear of being shot back at. Then there is that one time Pug really let loose and created a giant storm like a god, which came out of nowhere and simply overpowered every magician present. How? Never explained. And there is one last thing, that magical armor. What was up with that? It made Thomas into a demigod, and it came out of nowhere. And last but not least, politics and the war. During this 9-year war, in the book we are only given a detailed description of one battle. And the rest of the time, the book was just time skip. Sometimes 1 year, sometimes 2 or 3. However many is needed. And we are told that the characters we follow have changed and grew up, experienced many hardships. Told, never shown. Pug was a slave for many years, and we are only shown the last years of him being a slave, where we are told that he has learned how to survive as a slave. Sure wish we could have seen him learning that. Lastly, there are politics, which are wow. Like, one thing I don't understand is why are there other nations still fighting against the kingdom that is fighting against the invaders from a whole different world, who, if they win, would enslave everyone, since everyone is a barbarian to them. I just can't wrap my head around it. Or the whole succession fiasco. That was just bad. And the final solution that the brown magician came up with did not solve anything. It just postponed things. I don't want to spoil it for you if you want to read it. Just read it for yourself and you will understand. Just keep in mind that the portals can be opened again. It just takes time. Okay, this is about all I wanted to say about this book. Is it bad? No. Is it great? No. It's just okay. I can only hope that the sequel will do a better job. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.